Hey, podcast. Question about relationships. What tips would you give to someone that is going through a long distance relationship? And what can I do to focus on connection? Thanks.
First of all, sweet crew neck.
Right. Shout out Kenny C18. You got the crew neck in, the Moto Academy crew neck. Long distance relationship advice. Kenny C18, you're going to get it again if you listen to the audio onlys. We had a field day with this question. Rob,
I'd like
Dave,
to
and myself,
know what you guys said.
and I don't remember what we said.
Oh, of course.
So
you weren't conscious
Go
when you
for
were
it.
giving that
go
feedback?
for it. What do you got for us?
I think that
first of all, we were trying to guess his age. Do you know his age? Or
I
you
would guess he's between like 18 to 23.
Okay, that's what I guessed.
Oh, really? Like
I mean,
exactly?
I think I guessed younger. I think I guessed 18 to 20.
Okay. Well, I feel like if you're in a long distance relationship, that's the best way to form a connection. Because
Is what?
being long distance. Because the only thing you can do with that person for the most part is talk. Right? Like you and I were long distance for 3 years, maybe? Was it more or less? I can't remember. A long time.
Mm-hmm.
And also, you could hardly talk because you were bouncing around or busy. And we got to know each other so well before actually meeting, which was really cool.
Okay, that's a good positive way to look at it.
Yep. I learned a lot about myself as an individual because we were long distance. I couldn't rely on you for things that most people rely on relationships for. But I feel like being long distance is amazing.
Great.
Is that not what most girls
That's
would
great
say?
advice.
I loved it. I loved long distance. No, I'm just kidding. And it makes me appreciate my time with you now much more. Like, I feel like if you're in a long distance relationship, when you do end up seeing your significant other, it makes you appreciate the time with them like 10 times more.
Mm-hmm.
And compared to most people in relationships who see each other all the time, it just becomes like a routine at that point, and you stop like appreciating the little things.
Okay, good advice. Yeah, so Jay Shetty talked about like what is the optimal amount of time to spend away from your significant other.
What was it, 2 days a week or something?
He found that, I don't know if it was like subjectively just him or if they had kind of like...
They agreed on it, I remember.
Had come to like
Yeah.
the conclusion that 2 nights a week was an appropriate amount of time to spend away from your significant other and like the optimal amount of time to spend away. Which is interesting because most people definitely don't do that. I think most people are either full-blown long distance or they're together
24/7. Their friends become like each other's friends. Their whole lives intertwine.
I think so. On that topic, Allie and I are going to actually be not far off of that cadence, which I think will be perfect. It allows you time by yourself, which is incredibly important because you have to 100%. Be able to, you cannot grow you have to grow you have to grow individually.
I agree with that and disagree with that.
You grow with the person because there's constant check-ins and you're able to align or figure things out, but ultimately that growth is happening with you. Mm-hmm. And it's easier to do that and sometimes almost only possible to do that when you are by yourself.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that. I don't think that that's like the only way.
Even you have conversations, but to go back and reflect by yourself, I think it's necessary.
Yeah,
interesting.
I don't know.
Wait till you hear the audio only episode. For those of you listening to this, make sure you listen to the other audio only episode where Kenny C asked this question. We all answer it in a totally different way.
Really?
Well, we went more so the route of like, what's up, everybody? AJ from the Moto Academy here. We have just released new content inside of the Moto Academy app. If you want one-on-one training in motocross, enduro, anything 2 wheels, go to club.themotoacademy.com. Train online with us today. You know,
why am I rocking as if I have a baby in my arms?
Just expect the fact that it's probably
not going to work out.
Not going to work, more so based on the fact that like work on just learning to be conscious, trying to not
well, I guess it totally depends on who the significant other is.
Well, it depends on so much. I mean, at that age, so what I said, at that age, like I nor anybody else around me was really capable of being able to do that at a healthy level.
I was.
Yeah.
You made it slightly unhealthy at times with choices and things, but I just think it totally depends on the significant other,
Yeah.
in addition to the person himself and how kind and trustworthy and open-minded and
Yeah, the main point though I think we made is that at that age, you, let's face it, aren't usually super conscious yet. So you therefore are operating, sometimes a lot of people are operating out of insecurities, jealousies,
yeah.
fears, all of the things that you shouldn't be doing, and trying to control other people, tell them what they shouldn't be doing. Then that turns into, it
But that
amplifies
reminds me
problems.
of the just wait comment. You're pointing out negatives when the positives are so much greater than the negatives. So how's that?
That's a good point. But I think it's important to be aware of the fact that at that age, it is very likely, if you're getting to the point where you're pretty conscious and know what's going on, the other person around you, the chance of them being in that place in life at that age is pretty low. So just be aware of that. Like, the best thing you can do is just make the right decisions, be kind and be empathetic, and let them do and make the decisions they need to and want to make.
Yeah.
And they just have to learn. You can't force another person to learn. Like, if they want to go to a party, have fun, stay in touch. If somebody needs it, I don't know, like whatever advice you give to people when they go to a party.
Yeah, the moment you feel yourself not being able to trust the other person, it's a problem with you, and it's also a problem with them, and that should be a red flag where you need to step back and evaluate why those things are happening.
And if something does happen, like let's say you let that person go to a party and something happens because they went to the party, those decisions had nothing to do with you in the first place, and there's nothing you can do to control the decisions that that person is going to make. In fact, if you were to react ahead of time and try to control any of that situation, it is only
Makes it
going to
worse.
make them probably do that thing that you don't want them to do. And it's going to make the situation worse. So, super interesting. Yeah,
Yeah,
Allie, you have to go back and listen to the advice.
Yeah, I feel like overall, though, don't let people tell you it's not going to work or you should be on your own. Do what makes you happy and better yourself at the same time,
Learn.
and try to encourage the other person in positive ways to better themselves also. Because like AJ said, a lot of times in long distance relationships, they can get controlling, and just try to do the opposite. Yeah.
Everything that happens in that relationship, look at it as
Experience.
how can I learn from this, instead of why did this happen to me? And
Or just with anything in life.
yeah, right.
Don't be a victim.
Why did this happen to me?
Yeah.
Or this is so bad and this is horrible. Instead, no matter how, doing air quotes down here, no matter how horrible it is, if the person cheats on you, whatever it is, there are, I know it might not seem like it, there are 100% things that you can learn through all of that.
Yeah.
So just look at it with that perspective. How can I learn and grow throughout all of this, whether it's good or bad? Okay,
Yeah.
that's good advice. If you guys enjoyed this podcast clip and you want to listen to full episodes, make sure you go download them on Spotify and Apple Music. If you want to watch full episodes or be a person that sends in your own video submission, go to club.themotoacademy.com and subscribe to join the Moto Academy family today.